Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Kemisinuola. Today's tutorial will be based on this one-piece kimono jumpsuit. But before we jump into today's tutorial, kindly click the subscribe button below and put on your notification so you can be notified when I upload new videos. Thank you. For this tutorial, we'll be needing our pattern paper, our pins, measuring tape, pencil, marker, 2 pairs of scissors, our pattern curve, measurement, also this 3 yards crepe fabric. Now let's get into the tutorial. So now to start off our pattern, we measure 3 inches by the side from the top of our pattern paper down to the full length. That's the first step in this one-piece kimono jumpsuit. 3 inches down to the full length. Then you take your pattern curve to rule that down. After that, the next thing is to get our horizontal measurements. And to get this, we'll be starting with our bust line. Our bust line for this jumpsuit is 10 inches. It's meant to be 9 inches, but because we want the armhole to be free, we are going to be using 10 inches. Then the next thing is our waist, our half length, which is 17 inches. You measure that on the other side to get a straight line. Now you take your ruler to rule that, your bust line and your half length. After doing that, the next thing now is to get our hip line. Our hip line from our half length is 8.5 inches. 8.5 inches to get the hip line. Then from that half length also, we are going to be measuring that down 13 inches to get our crotch depth. 13 inches to get our crotch depth. The reason we use 13 inches is because the crotch is not tight, it's free. That's why we are using 13. If not, we are supposed to be using 12 inches. Now the next step is to get our full length. But before that, I want to label this line so it doesn't get confusing. So now you place your measuring tape at the top of your pattern paper and measure down your full length. Our full length is 58 plus 1 for hemming, that's 59. So I'll be measuring 59 at the bottom of the pattern paper, wherever the measuring tape stops for 59. Remember your full length plus 1 for hemming. For this tutorial, it's 59. So after doing that, you take your ruler again to rule. So yeah, I'm trying to adjust the line, the 3 inches. So now we've gotten our horizontal lines. So now after getting our horizontal measurements, the next step now is to measure out our bust and our waist. And these measurements are going to be divided by 4. Your bust divided by 4, also your waist divided by 4. Our bust divided by 4 here is 8.5. For this tutorial, our bust divided by 4 is 8.5. So I'll place my measuring tape on the bust line to measure out 8.5. After doing that, I'm going to place my measuring tape again on the waistline. Our waist divided by 4. The half length you measured the other time stands as your waist divided by 4. So if you notice on the jumpsuit, we have some pleats there. For this tutorial, I'll be adding 6 inches extra, meaning for one pleat is 2 inches, for the other pleat is 2 inches, and we are going to be having three pleats. So 2 times 3 is 6 inches. So our measurement is going to be having an additional plus 6 inches. So your waist divided by 4 plus 6, same as the bust, will be adding 6 inches extra. The next thing now is to get our shoulder. Your shoulder divided by 2. Our shoulder divided by 2 is 7.5 inches. 7.5 inches. But I want the sleeve to be longer, so I'll be adding 10 inches extra. Because this is a kimono, we are cutting the sleeve along with the bodies of our jumpsuit. So I'll be adding 10 inches extra. And now our shoulder is 17.5 inches. So I'll be measuring that 17.5 inches on the bust line also. This is because I want to use it to determine my armhole. I'll be using that to determine the armhole. So after measuring that 17.5 inches on the bust line, I'm going to rule it to make like a rectangular shape. Then I'll measure up 1.5 inches from that bust line. I will use my free hand to curve it to the measurement of the bust line. So after doing it, I'll measure down 1 inch from the shoulder line. This is for our shoulder slanting. I'll also get the neckline. We're going to be using 3 inches because this has a collar. It has a collar. 3 inches by 1 for the back, and 3 inches by 3 inches for the front. The depth is 3 inches. The width is 3 inches for the front. The width is 3 inches. The depth is 1 inch for the back. Then I'll take my pencil to curve that. So I'm slanting the shoulder here from the 1 inch to the 3 inches for the neckline. The next thing we are going to be doing now is to curve from the bust line to the waist. Now on our hip line, our hip divided by 4 is 9 inches. We are also going to be adding 6 inches here. Remember, for the pleat, hip divided by 4 is 9 inches plus 6 inch. Using our free hand, we are going to curve that out. The same measurement we have on our hip line is what we are also going to be transferring to our crotch line, which is the crotch depth we measured the other time. We have 15 inches there. We are going to be measuring 15 inches also on the crotch depth. Also curve down from the hip line to the crotch depth. After doing that, the next thing we are going to be doing now is to get we're going to be starting the trouser measurement. To get our crotch To get the crotch line, we're going to be measuring 2.5 inches, 2.5 inches out from the crotch line. That's the 3 inches we added the other time. That's the purpose of the 3 inches we measured the other time. We're going to be measuring 2.5 inches out and be curving from the hip line to that 2.5 inches. That's your crotch curve. Don't make it too deep and it shouldn't come out too much. Just curve that little from the hip line to the 2.5 inches. Just watch what I'm doing. So the next step now is to measure from that curve on our crotch depth to that 2.5 inches and divide it. This is for us to get the grain line for our trouser, the down part of the jumpsuit. So after dividing that line, we have 8.75. So I'm going to be measuring that from that 2.5 inches to get the middle of our crotch line. So 8.75 rather, 8.75. So now from that 8.75, I'm going to be I will minus 2.5 inches, 2.5 inches from it, so as to get the midpoint, the grain line rather, of our trouser. So whatever I have there is what I'm measuring now. Just watch what I am doing. Now I will rule that down. So now we have 8.75 on our crotch line. Because this is a straight pant, we are not going to be measuring out or making it pencil or anything. We are just going to be ruling down that 8.75. So now the 8.75 we have on the crotch line is what I'm going to be measuring on the full length also, just to get a straight line. 8.75 also on the full length. On the other side of the pant, I'll be measuring 8.75 also. So here you can modify your trouser however you want, but I just want my trouser, the leg of my trouser, to be straight. So you could make it pencil, it's your choice, but I just want to make this one straight. That's why I measure 8 and 8.75 on both sides, and now I'm going to be ruling that down. We're almost done with our pattern drafting. So this is our pant. One piece kimono jumpsuit. We're going to be adding 1/2 inch all around the pattern except the side of our pattern paper, which is going to be plus 1 inch. On the shoulder, we're going to be adding 1/2 inch. On our sleeve, we are going to be adding plus 1, neckline plus 1/2 inch, and at the center of our jumpsuit, we are going to be adding 1/2 inch. So now we are going to be cutting that out. Watch carefully where I'm cutting, especially the crotch part, the middle part of the jumpsuit. Don't cut the other line, cut the first line. So now this pattern is consisting of the front and the back pattern. That's why the neckline is in 2 places. We are going to be cutting the back first, then cut the front later. So that's it for our pattern drafting for our one piece kimono jumpsuit. Add half on the shoulder, half on the neckline, 1 inch by the side and on the sleeve, and half inch at the center of our pattern paper. So the middle is going to be pleated, but this pattern is standing for the front and the back of the jumpsuit. So we are going to cut this in our next tutorial. This tutorial video is just for the drafting of the one piece kimono jumpsuit. This is just the drafting. In our next video we are going to be cutting that out. Thank you for joining me. See you in our next video. Bye for now.